Okay, time to be honest. Has it felt this last year like you're only playing catch up? And maybe while trying to play catch up, you're actually just falling farther and farther behind on that treadmill that's going nowhere? Do you feel like you are reacting instead of leading? You want peace, purpose, clarity, and yet maybe you feel like you just can't keep up with the chaos. That is why we do not want to enter the next year on accident, just willy nilly doing whatever happens to pop up. We need to respond with purpose and we need to prepare for progress. That's what this video is going to be all about. Hi, I'm Mystie Winckler, Christian homemaker, homeschool mom, grandma, and founder of Convivial Circle, a community where we help moms practice cheerful productivity and get out of chaotic survival mode. For over 20 years, I've learned one thing over and over in all my attempts to plan a new year and build strategic, workable home routines. When I try for clarity, it doesn't come after I've done all the work and then finally have a little bit of extra time. You have to pause in the midst of the chaos to make a plan to move forward well. So, today let's talk about how to take that moment before catching up, without catching up, to prepare and plan for progress in the next year in a way that's not reactive, but responsive and responsible. Grab a basket of laundry to fold and let's dig in. So I know that as you look back, if you look back on the year that's just happened and you think about the year that is to come, you want your home to be a place of peace, of relationship building, of intentional time spent doing the important things. And yet, over and over again, you have the same. You just can't seem to get out of survival mode, stress mode, reactive mode. And you probably feel like you have to get rid of all the chaos, clean the house, organize everything, have a working planner, not be behind on anything in life, and then you can have a moment to breathe and figure things out and step out of stress. But I'm sorry to say that that time is just not going to come. We have to learn how to step out of the stress in the midst of our current reality, no matter how chaotic that is. If you put it off until you finally get on top of everything, you are never going to get there. You need a process to pause and make a plan for incremental improvements, not finally getting on top of everything. That's perfectionism mode resurfacing. Inside Convivial Circle, I have a program that we go through at this time every year. Between Thanksgiving and New Year, we spend about an hour a week with my Ready 5 process, where we go through 5 steps, 1 step per week, to move into the new year with intentional reflection and review so that we are renewed to tackle exactly where we're at right now. We just had the kickoff workshop for this year on Wednesday, and I wanted to share with you a clip of this workshop. It was about 40 minutes, but I'm going to share with you this 6 or 7 minute clip so that you can see how you might be able to hit pause even before you feel anywhere close to catching up. Catching up really is one of those symptoms of perfectionism that we have to replace with prayerful iteration. So let's roll that clip of the kickoff workshop, and then I'll be back to wrap us up. So the first trap that we fall into with setting a new course for the new year is planning from frustration instead of gratitude. And gratitude isn't just a general feeling. Gratitude is anchored in concrete reality. So we're not grateful unless we are thanking God for specific things. And so deep gratitude, applicable gratitude happens as we review, as we reflect. And so in Ready 5, you'll notice looking back at the last year and where you're currently at takes up most of the time. We don't spend most of the month thinking about the future. We actually spend most of the month thinking about 2025, not 2026. And at first that might seem counterintuitive for an annual planning workshop, but it actually puts us in the right frame of mind so that we make bite size, reality based goals and alignments for the coming year. So sometimes what we end up doing, thinking that we are manufacturing motivation, creating motivation within us, we get frustrated with where we're at right now. And we think that if we are angry enough or frustrated enough with where we're at, that will move us forward to have some kind of lasting change. And I don't know if you've noticed, but it's just not true. That is the fuel for boom and bust cycles, not for steady incremental growth. So don't just clear the decks, like you are overthrowing tables in your life and thinking that's going to then help you set a brand new course for the new year. That's just going to create more chaos, actually. It's not righteous anger. It's generally anger at God, really. It's anger at the providence of God in your life. And so instead of working with where God has you right now, you try to take the reins and get where you think you ought to be. And that's not good. So instead we want to start with reflection and gratitude. So as you think about 2025, the year that we are wrapping up, be on guard against feelings of anger, frustration, bitterness. All of those will create a short-lived flame that will not get you anywhere. Instead, and we do have intentional steps built into Ready 5. So instead, you're going to review and then turn that review into specific gratitude. And then you will have calm, clear motivation for Carolina says, should I complete an interval plan before starting this on Friday? I didn't get to it yet. No, you should not. You should wait and make a next interval plan. I mean, you come up with whatever plan you need to help Christmas happen. But at the end of Ready 5, at the end of December after Christmas, that's when you want to make an interval plan for the coming year and just get scrappy with Christmas. Okay. So, trap number 2 is overcomplicating everything. And I see this with a lot of annual goal setting stuff because I mean, I love productivity and goal setting. And, I pay attention to like the business type podcasts where they're talking about annual plans and, best year ever, right? What I find it leads to is overcomplication, over engineering. And I mean, that doesn't work in business, actually. It sells, but it doesn't actually move you forward. It makes you feel like you're doing something when you're setting it up. It makes you feel like this time will be different because you've got all the pieces in just the right thing, just the right format of your goal statements, in just the right planner and the plan of action and the habits and all the things. That kind of plan is going to fall apart before January's even over. Perfectionists love complex systems. So if you are making this over engineered, micromanaged, overcomplicated, that is giving in to your perfectionist temptations and you need to resist. So as we go through Ready 5, you might get impatient with all the review and the reflection and the small steps. And you might want to fast forward to getting ready for next year where you're going to have whole new routines and whole new habits and big, huge goals. That's your perfectionism. Don't do it. Don't give in. Stick with the steps of Ready 5 and don't jump ahead. And don't spend more time thinking about how great the future is going to be instead of taking the time to pause and reflect on the past. It doesn't feel as satisfying and maybe even as hopeful, but in the end, you're going to get to a better plan after you go through that process. So be patient and don't let your perfectionism tempt you into an over engineered. The last week of Ready 5 is our Ready acronym, where we put together a plan for next year. And it's going to feel like it goes by too fast and is not enough. But it happening fast is a safeguard to overcomplicating it, to having too many goals, too big of goals, being so set up for the next year that you're really dropping the balls of your current reality. You don't want to do that. Now, you actually do not want to be planning alone. Planning alone is isolating, and it is not the path of wisdom. You will second guess your priorities. You will get stuck in your head and not move forward. You will end up forming unrealistic goals that are not tethered to your current reality. And then when life gets messy, you will abandon the plan. That's what's happened in the past, right? Planning in community is the solution. You will be grounded, accountable, encouraged, honest, and challenged in all the right ways. Inside Convivial Circle, you will be told over and over again that you are not behind. You are taking baby steps of growth that will add up over time. Instead of feeling alone and overwhelmed, you will have a fellowship of other women growing and learning the exact same thing. Inside Convivial Circle, we have hundreds of Christian women intentionally growing in wise, thoughtful, and cheerful productivity together. So come participate in Ready 5. You can have access to that full kickoff workshop as soon as you join. And then the course outlines 1 hour a week where you can intentionally work through this process with a community to share what you're learning and growing and to see what other people and to see how other people are implementing it as you go along. We're going to have a live workshop every Tuesday throughout the month, helping you take the next step with focus and answering your questions along the way. Come join us. Enroll today at convivialcircle.com. This whole process is all about repenting, rejoicing, and repeating.